There was a time in my life that I thought I will never have a future. I thought I messed up big time and that there's not going to be another chance for me. At that time, I never thought my life would ever be normal again. My name is Michael Yeo, and I'm originally from Batu Pahat. I come from a middle-income family, and I am the youngest among my siblings. Before I became a Christian, I was a hardcore heroin addict for 12 years. Because of my habit, I ended up in prison twice. But today, I am free from my addiction, and I'm now serving as a pastor of a church in Johor Bahru. I did not immediately become a drug addict, nor did I intend to be one. I started out smoking cigarettes when I was 13 years old. I thought it was cool to do that at that age. I was a rebellious young boy looking for fun and thrills. Normal games like football, badminton did not attract me. I would prefer fighting, gangs, gambling. But of course, after a while, I got bored with this and I started to experiment with ganja. And by the time I was 16, I was chasing the dragon, which was a way to smoke heroin. Of course, at the end, it was the dragon that got to me. Getting involved with drugs was not really surprising for me because I was into hard rock music and the hippie culture at that time. Songs that attracted me were Stairways to Heaven, Smoke on Water, and these are all songs talking about drugs. And on top of that, drugs were easily accessible to me because of the company I kept. It reached a point where I spent about 200 ringgit per day to feed my habit. And that was a lot of money in the 70s and 80s. I had to resort to many unethical means to support my expensive habit. Of course, the price I paid was not only in financial terms. Even though I was considered a bright student, I lost the opportunity to have a proper education. Because I did not want to be cut off from my drug supply, I eventually lost the trust of my family and even the respect of my friends. Heroin was my life, not relationships. And as time progressed, I even lost confidence in myself. I attempted to kick the habit many times, many ways. And I experimented with replacement therapy. I tried acupuncture. I went to the temple mediums. I self-exiled myself in Singapore. But I could not stay long away from heroin. I felt hopeless. No matter how hard I tried, I failed in my every attempt to kick the habit. Outwardly, I looked fine. I could still hold a career. But deep in my heart, I hated the person I had become. In 1985, things got so bad, I had to leave my contracting business in Singapore and I came back to Malaysia. I subsequently became more involved in drugs. And in 1986, I was caught and put in prison for drug possession. And it was the worst feeling in my life, a rude awakening of sorts. You know, there is a Malay proverb that says, no matter how smart the squirrel thinks it is in jumping, it will fall to the ground one day as well. Well, I felt exactly like that squirrel. I always thought that I would not be caught by the police, but at the end, I was. Though I put up a strong face in front of everyone, but inside me, I gave up on life. I felt that this was as bad as it could go. A prisoner. And from now on, This would be my life and my future. In my mind back then, by going to prison, I had graduated to be a full-fledged criminal. I resigned from every thought of changing for the better. While in prison, I started planning and establishing a network for a life of serious crime upon my release. And as if that was not bad enough, one day, my late father, came to see me in prison. I hoped he would, but I did not expect it. My father was a school headmaster. He was a respectable man in the community. And I, his wayward son, the black sheep of the family, was a great disappointment to him. I had brought shame by being the one in the family to go to prison. And in spite of this, my father came to visit me. I saw my father's love for me that day. And it broke my heart when I realized how much pain I had caused him. But my father's love could not change me. I persisted in my self-destructive habit. One day, as God would have it, when I was caught the second time, while waiting for my court hearing in a jail cell in Batu Pahat, a fellow prisoner talked to me about Jesus Christ. He saw me cringing in pain at the corner of the cell because I was having heroin withdrawal symptoms. He shared how Jesus helped addicts like me change and become better people. He even quoted some examples of people that I knew and now living a life free from drugs. And then he shared with me a scripture from the Bible, Matthew 6:33. But seek first God's kingdom and His righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. He told me I could be free from drug addiction only if I was willing to believe in God and make Him the top priority in my life. Though what he shared gave me an unexpected glimmer of hope, I was a bit skeptical in the beginning. I was thinking, if that was the case, then why was he still in prison with me? But I was desperate and in pain, and so I asked him to pray for me. And after he prayed for me, I lay down on the prison floor to rest. And surprisingly, I slept peacefully throughout the night. When I woke up the next morning, all my painful withdrawal symptoms had left. I was so relieved that the pain was no longer there. I was impressed that just a simple prayer to Jesus can help me in such a manner. And this was my first encounter with the Lord Jesus Christ. It was a turning point for me because the experience opened my heart to Christianity and to the Christian God. Before this, I was absolutely against Christianity. I felt it was a Western religion, and Christians were people who had betrayed their Asian culture. I always had the impression that Christians were weak and unrealistic people. They just sang songs and they listened to sermons, and that was all they did. But after the prison cell experience and a few more miraculous encounters with the Lord Jesus Christ, I knew He was real. I finally gave my life to God in a Christian drug rehabilitation center in Batu Pahat. I am very grateful for the support that I got from the Christian Drug Rehabilitation Center that I went to after I was released from prison. The leader and the staff of the center, they were ex-addicts themselves, and they were exemplary in their love, their service, their sacrifice. I remember there was once the center leader had to use his own personal money that he allocated for his baby's milk powder just to buy food for us because funds were running low in the center. And that was another eye-opener for me as to what Christian love was all about. The leader and the staff, they patiently taught, encouraged, counseled, prayed for me throughout my 18 months with them. And because of that, I was further motivated and inspired to change. At the end of my residential program, I was connected to a local church in Malacca, where I continued to receive emotional support and spiritual guidance. And it was this church that recognized my call to full-time ministry and supported me in my studies in Bible school in Petaling Jaya. One of the most important changes I noticed about myself after becoming a Christian is that I now have a strong sense of purpose in my life. I find it extremely meaningful and fulfilling to do what I'm doing today, serving God and serving others to the best of my ability. Before I became a Christian, I was lost. I don't have a direction for my life. I was just living each day for itself. But now I have a reason to get out of bed each day. I have never expected to be where I am today, as I said earlier. Once, I could not complete my studies, but now I have 2 degrees, a Bachelor of Theology and a Master's degree in counseling. Once, I was a lonely, rejected wanderer, but now God has blessed me with a very supportive family of my own. Once, I had brought lots of harm to society through peddling drugs, but now I'm back in the city I was before, doing what I can to help the poor, the needy. Once I was a despised prisoner, but now I am a pastor, leading, guiding, and encouraging others with the one message that when you have Jesus in your life, there is always hope, there is always grace. I am just very thankful to God that I'm able to make it this far, living a life free from drug dependency. Miraculously, I do not have any craving for heroin or even cigarettes for that matter. If I am to describe my days as an addict, I would say it was hell on earth. The fears, the failures, the bondage. But today, praise the Lord, by the grace of God, I am free from all this. I don't have to worry where to get the money for my next fix. I don't have to be afraid of getting caught by police. I'm now confident in what I set out to do because I'm no longer distracted or hindered by any addiction to drugs. I can now choose to live a useful life, to be a blessing, not a burden to others. Life still has its challenges, but I think if my father was here today, he would be very proud that I'm still pressing on with my new life. There are 3 things that I've learned from life that I hold dearly to. Number 1 is no matter how bad the situation is, there's always hope in Jesus. The end of man is the beginning of God, someone says. If you are in some kind of trouble that you feel you can't get out of, I would say don't give up yet. Exercise some faith. Cry out to Jesus. You'll be amazed at what He can do for you. Number 2, God is never ashamed of us. He draws us to Himself with His love. Our journey towards inner healing begins when we realize that God accepts us as we are. If for some reason you feel condemned about yourself because of your past, open your heart and allow God's unconditional love to heal you. Number 3, God's grace is always sufficient for us. No matter how far we think we have traveled in life, if we care enough to admit it, we are still humans, imperfect and weak in our own ways. And that's okay, because that's where the undeserved favor or the grace of God comes in to your life. If you are a Christian, don't allow tiredness, discouragement, insecurity stop you. Pray for God's strength. Look at the bigger picture. Believe in providence. Whatever your strengths and limitations, God will accomplish His purpose through your life. He will transform even your mistakes to masterpieces. There was a time in my correct sorry. I was like thinking. Just now I hear the mic. Then I thought I want to hear the mic again. Okay. So soft already. Okay. I start again. Okay. Sorry.